Welcome into the next video in the Titan Roundtable series. I am Nate and I am joined by...
Jackson from the Titan Report podcast.
We're missing a couple guys. We're missing Luke, the other half from Titan Talk. We're missing Arlen from Tennessee Tough and Micah from the Titans Rundown. But here we're going to give our first mock draft here, a part of the Titan Roundtable. Me and Jackson's going to get started with that right now. Now, starting things off, we're going to get this thing started and see who the Raiders, Jets, and Cardinals all select here. And we're going to see who's available at 4 for the Tennessee Titans. So,
Ooh.
wow, that's
I'm
surprising.
gonna take number two. Okay.
Even with the randomness turned down to 0, he still goes to the Jets, number 2, which I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, if the Jets take
Mm.
him, so be it. I don't know, but... Honestly, what's your thoughts on here for Titans number 4?
Yeah, obviously I know the Jets took Cardinal Tate number two, but really that's when the draft starts, right? I mean it's really random, but we all know Mendoza's gonna go number one. The biggest thing to keep in mind is what's gonna happen with Ruben Bain, because obviously Bain's right there. You have David Bailey at number four. Could you maybe take Cardinal Tate or Mekhi Lemon? I think the safe choice here is Ruben Bain if he's available at number four. But I'd love to grab like David Bailey. Or if those guys could be gone, Arva Reese probably could be the next man there. So I think Ruben Bain is the safe choice here at number four. Can do everything on that defensive line, can go inside. He can definitely stop the run, which the Tennessee Titans are looking to improve in 2026. So Ruben Bain is my pick for number four.
I'm going to agree with you there. I mean, I like Bane, but honestly, hot take, I kind of like David Bailey a little bit more, but I see what you're talking about with Bane having that dual threat factor as a defensive player on the side of the ball, being pass rusher and run stopper over there on the defensive line. So I also am going to agree with you. I think Bane is the right pick at number 4, but I would not be disappointed with taking Bailey number 4 as well. Really quick before we move on to the second round pick, what's your thoughts on Jeremiah Love here? What's your thoughts if we take him number 4?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I love Jeremiah Love at number four. I think he's a good running back. He's not the biggest guy. I just don't think the Titans are gonna go running back. Yeah, I think there's too many needs on that roster. I would like him. Maybe the Cardinals might take him. Maybe someone low, but I wouldn't mind exactly be mad about Jeremiah Love. I just don't really see it as a possibility just because I think like guys like I said, Ruben Bain are there and Cardinal Tate. I think the Titans are mostly going to go defense with the first pick, excuse me, in the first round. So as much as fans will love Jeremiah Love, I just don't really see it as a realistic possibility. I think Tony Pollard is going to be here next season. Although I think they will upgrade at running back. I will say that though. I think two options if they cut Tony Pollard, Brees Hall is going to be out there. But it really matters what happens in free agency. But I don't see the Titans getting Jeremiah Love in the draft.
I agree with you there. I mean, I would love to have him a part of the team. I just don't think he's worth taking the number 4 pick with like you mentioned, the
Right.
too many holes to fill on this team. But yeah, I'm going to agree with Ruben Bain. So let's go ahead and put him in there. And let's see. So hold up. Let's see how the rest take a gander on the rest of the draft. Downs goes to the Giants,
I
number 5.
and
Where Tyson went number 13 to the Rams. Wow. Lemon went to the
okay,
Chiefs.
Aaron Lemon.
Smith to the Saints. Bailey to the Commanders. McCoy to the Cowboys. Wow. And
Hmm.
Simpson being a first
I'm really
rounder.
surprised about Jordan Tyson going to the Rams because he's not going to be at the combine this week. So that's very interesting to keep in mind that Tyson's not going to be doing any drills. So maybe the Rams do like to add Tyson with that room with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. That's something to watch about.
That would be a really dangerous receiving core there as well. Man. Wow.
I like
Colton
TJ
Hood.
Parker though.
Ooh.
Wow. I like TJ Parker to is that the Bears? Yeah, it's the Bears.
Mm.
Yeah, TJ Parker is going to be one of the most interesting guys, I think, besides Ruben Bain and David Bailey and Arva Race. He's getting slept on in this draft. Had a really good Senior Bowl, really stood out to me and a lot of other guys. And Parker's going to be a guy to keep in mind in this draft. So Parker, if he does slip in the second round, I don't expect him to, but man, I think the Bears got a good pick with Parker right there.
I agree. I think he's a really great player. He played great over there at Clemson this past season in college football there. So Denzel Boston to the Steelers. Wow, Steelers going
Mhm.
receiver number 21
Yeah.
as well. But now we are at the Titans, number 35 overall pick here. We got our edge rusher in Ruben Bain in the first round. But honestly, I think with this second round pick, I think the Titans should most definitely target a wide receiver here. What are your thoughts on what position group you think they should target?
Yeah, it honestly really matters in free agency to me, in my opinion. It really matters what they're going to be doing, what they're going to be targeting. With a defensive back is probably number one, the biggest thing to me in the second round. To see who is there and who's not there. But you're right with wide receiver. I think wide receiver is going to be one of the most interesting things too. They definitely need to upgrade at both positions. If let's just say for hypothetically, they do target two guys in the draft, then I feel more comfortable going to wide receiver. But again, it really matters what's going to happen to the Titans in free agency. Jalen Watson or Jamel Dean or Tariq Ruin. It matters who they get at corner. To me, I think corner might be more interesting at number 35, but I wouldn't mind a wide receiver here. It's a toss up, but I'm leaning more corner here just because of the guys I've seen at number 35. But if they do take a receiver, I wouldn't mind that exactly as well. There's a lot of guys that are interesting, but Keith Abney is a guy from Arizona State that has me very enticed. So again, it really matters what they do to free agency. I think it's a little bit tiny bit early because we're just around that time. But if Keith Abney's there late, early in the second round, then I would go Keith Abney over some of the other guys.
Yeah, thinking about that, hold up, let's take a look at the trades here that are offered.
Ooh.
Um, we got giving pick number 39 and a future 27 fourth rounder to move
Hmm.
to move no wait, we're
And
moving
and
down
that's
four
and that's the
spots.
thing too, is because is Mike Borgonzi, he wants 30 picks in the next 3 years. So maybe is it a time now, or is he gonna wait maybe into like the third round for the Titans to trade back? So that's something fans have to keep in mind on as well. Is I know he didn't trade back last year, and fans are gonna be like, oh, the Titan. I didn't mention this earlier. Maybe the Titans could trade back from number four. Also, that's something they could
Hmm.
do as well because Borgonzi wants to get as many picks as he can, and that's something to also keep in mind of as well. So the trade block and the trading could also be a big thing to keep in mind of.
I completely agree with that as well. I mean, I would not be totally disappointed, honestly, if we trade down from four. The only thing about that is, I don't want us to move past pick 10. I think the sweet
Right.
spot there is around 7 to 10 is the lowest you can go. I think Cardinal Tate might possibly be available there, and I think if he is, I think you
Mhm.
should totally take him there at number whatever you get in between there. But yeah, I am. This pick's kind of tricky because looking at those trade offers, I
Yeah.
didn't really see one that was stood out to me like, yeah, we had to take that. But honestly, there's look if you look at the top of the board here, there's no one really that's screams to me a need for the Titans. Some of the guys that I
Chris
do
Brazzle
think,
does a little bit. Chris
yeah,
Brazzle from Tennessee.
I'm looking at Chris Brazel and like you mentioned Keith Abney here. Those are the two guys I'm thinking about. I'm kind of leaning more towards Brazel. What's your thoughts?
Hmm. Yeah, if Brazel is one of the guys in the second round, I think a lot of fans are kind of mostly underrating just because I really like Chris Brazel. I think he can do a lot of good things in this NFL draft. He's going to be early second or third round pick. He had one of his best seasons in Tennessee. He's one of the best deep threat wide receivers in this draft class. He can really track the ball really well, especially on 101. The biggest thing for Chris Brazel is in my opinion, he needs to show things down the middle of the field, like cross the middle, some slants he might need to work on. I think he needs to maybe do some better coverage, especially some off-ball routes. But if Chris Brazel can show me that he can win those one-on-ones and he can prove that speed, then I'll like Chris Brazel at 35. If it's between Chris Brazel and Keith Abney, I'm going Chris Brazel right here at number 35.
I'm going to agree with you. Let's go ahead and pick up Chris Brazel here to become the Titans' new wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver. We're going to go all the way down to pick number 66 now here. I think undoubtedly you have to go corner here. I think that's yeah, I think
100%.
far and away that's the pick you have to make here. Some exceptions I could see is maybe offensive lineman here, but I think corner's too much of a need here to take at number 66.
Offensive line is probably going to be like maybe like a fourth or maybe like a probably a fourth or fifth round selection just because the top three needs of this draft in non-order is edge, wide receiver, and defensive back. So this is a good spot for the Titans to target a defensive back.
I'm gonna agree with you. The two guys that stand out for me here on this list here is Malik Muhammad from Texas here,
Mhm.
number 67 right here, and another guy. I know the position's listed wrong here, but here Keontae Scott. I'm honestly
Yeah.
surprised he's that projected low, but I think that would be a steal here at number 66 with Keontae.
Yeah, and Knight's Cam Ward's teammate for right there. So Cam Ward's former teammate too. So
Yeah, which out of those two, which do you like best out of Malik and Keontae?
it's tough. The thing I'm trying to see with Malik. The thing about Malik, I like him. He's a junior from Texas. Malik's not that tall. He's only 5'11", 183 pounds. But the thing that a lot of people do like about him, he's a really good time corner. He's a really good pass breakup. Um, also a nice run defend cornerback too. He's really good at stopping the run. I think the biggest weakness for Malik is that can he do things inside, right? I think the Titans need to find somebody who can play inside. I know we're kind of missing that just a little bit last year. Um, I do like him, but Keontae Scott is a guy that interests me just a little bit more. I think if he's there at number 60, I think 66, correct? I kind of
Yeah,
forgot the number we're at. But I think Keontae Scott's fantastic. He posted 66 tackles during last season, 13 for loss, and he's a guy that I think is really good defender for this Titans defense. He'll fit perfectly with that Robert Saleh defense. He can blitz really good as well. He really fights off a lot of bigger blockers, like a lot of big tight ends, and he's a really good guy and can sniff off when that runner is just coming right for him. He can sniff it when the guys are coming. So he's one of the best tacklers in this draft. He's from San Diego. He's a senior. I think if I had to come between the two, give me Keontae Scott from Miami to reunite Cam Ward's former teammate.
I'm gonna totally agree with you here. I think Keontae Scott is the best pick here at number 66. And honestly, if everything goes the way it is in this mock draft, which it most likely won't because
Yeah,
the world of the NFL is so unpredictable at times, but
really
he
is,
would be
honestly.
matching up with Ruben Bain, his former teammate, as well
Mm-hmm.
on the same side of the
Mm-hmm.
ball. So I'm gonna agree
Yeah.
with you. Let's go ahead and pick up Keontae Scott here, taking two Miami guys for our first three picks. Up next here, pick 101. Uh,
Mm.
Honestly, I think you go offensive line here. Maybe pick up a running
Yeah.
back. What's your thoughts for pick 101 here?
Yeah, this is where you probably get offensive line or get the running back here. The Titans, obviously, the offensive line is not going to be the biggest problem, I think, in this draft. With the guys, I think they're going to keep most four out of their five guys. I think the only guy that's really interesting to keep an eye about is Kevin Zeitler. I don't expect him to be here next season. So you're either going to have to find a guard, someone who can play that guard position, maybe compete with Jackson Slater in free agency, or get someone to back up Jackson Slater. So a guy that really does stand out to me is Logan Jones from Iowa. Another guy that I really do like is Allen from Penn State. Those two guys right there. But the Titans do need a booster, excuse me, still that offensive line. So Logan Jones from Iowa is gonna be my pick within the fourth round.
I'm gonna agree with you yet again. I think Logan Jones, he's underrated there at Iowa. He's a great offensive lineman there, and I don't think he would be that bad of a depth piece. And honestly, a rotational guy. I wouldn't mind seeing him being a rotational
Yeah.
guy on this starting offensive line. So, yeah, let's go ahead and pick up Logan Jones here. Now we're gonna jump down to pick 140 here. Here you could really do a lot of things. Honestly, I wouldn't hate going after another corner here, to be honest.
Okay. I like that. Also a guy to keep in mind because I know some fans are gonna be like, "Oh, the Titans don't need a tight end." What if the Titans go Jack Andrews from Texas to reunite him and Gunnar Helm? That could be a possibility. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really mind going defensive back here. Again, the Titans, it all really matters what they're gonna be doing in free agency, but they need to upgrade at the cornerback position last year and add guys in that room.
I agree. Honestly, I was taking a look at this list here. Honestly, I wouldn't hate seeing C.J. Daniels, yet another Miami player here. Former Xavier Restrepo and Cam Ward teammate here. I know him and Restrepo are big buddies there, but I think it's a little bit too early for him. Maybe pick 142 coming up, but I've
Yeah.
tight end. This pick's a little tricky because, like you mentioned, we hadn't seen what happened in free agency yet. You don't know if the Titans are going to get a tight end in free agency or wait for the draft for that. But this
I
pick,
wouldn't mind trading down here, Nick.
yeah, me too. I mean,
I wouldn't mind trading down to one of these two picks, honestly.
this is not a bad offer here that's getting offered. Miami offering pick 149 to move down 9 spots and get pick 227. I think that's the best move here.
I think it's the best move. I like it. First trade of the draft. There you go.
There we go. The Dolphins traded up and got Caden Curry from OSU here.
Mm,
Here,
I like that
honestly,
pick.
I'm leaning C.J. Daniels or somebody like the likes of Hezekiah Massis, I think's how you say his name. Those are the two guys
I think
I
yeah.
think are the two top targets here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait one more pick to get the wide receiver. In my opinion, I think CJ Daniels might maybe there's a good chance he might go um just 9 picks later. But again, you have to think about who's gonna be able to make the most impact and the wide receiver room. And we already took a wide receiver in the second round, Chris Brazzell. It's going to be a pretty full wide receiver room for the Titans, and you want to get guys who can make impacts. CJ Daniels is good. He's a very good, talented wide receiver, but I think the Titans need to go safe here and get another defensive back to pair with that room. I'm still very unsure what that room is going to look like next season.
Yeah.
He'll join guys like Micah Robinson, who's also still there. L'Jarius Sneed, I'm 100% confident he's not going to be there. But if I have to go with someone, I'll go with the guy from Cal. And he'll team up with Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris met him, knows him, and that's honestly something to keep in mind of. I haven't studied much of Mizakaya, I think that's how you say it. But last season, he was pretty impressive last season. He had 5 interceptions last year, 12 passes that were deflected, his best of his career. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, had 31 solo tackles last season. So Massis is a good pick here at pick 142.
I agree, honestly. After hearing you talk about it, you kind of convinced me that receiver isn't the greatest choice here. As I think, honestly, I think corner is the biggest need on this team. In all honestly,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think we take one number four. I wouldn't mind it. I just think
Mhm.
that you really need to go draft heavy in the cornerback room this year.
Right.
So let's go ahead and pick
100%.
up Hezekiah. I think that's how you say his name. Now we're here,
Yeah,
pick
Hezekiah, yeah.
149. Uh, Another
This is where
lineman
you can
wouldn't be
see
terrible.
CJ Daniels. This is where you can maybe see CJ Daniels go from Miami. I would like him. I would like him maybe right here too. He's still there. That's interesting.
Yeah, Daniels wouldn't be bad. A running back from Wake Forest is not terrible either. Deadman Claiborne. Uh, I think Daniels is the pick here. What do you think?
Yeah, Daniels is the pick. I was gonna say, yeah, last year we saw some incredible things from Daniels. His first year in Miami, he spent many years with Liberty, actually many years ago, and then he got transferred to LSU in Miami. The past season had 557 receiving yards last year, 7 touchdowns, and 11 and a half yards per catch. He's a big size. He's 6'2", 205, and was a good weapon last year for Carson Beck, and he'll make a good addition for that offense in Tennessee.
I agree with you there. Let's go ahead and pick up C.J. Daniels here, pick 140. Now we're going to get really late into the draft. We got pick 183 here.
Hmm.
This is now the time where you start drafting guys for depth, right? You start drafting guys
Right.
to help build around this team, to help maybe if one of those guys do go down, like like a starter like Cam Ward you mentioned earlier. I
Mhm.
think at some point I would not be opposed of taking a quarterback in this draft just to kind of like have a guy to back up Cam in case something does happen to Will Levis, in case we trade him or do something along the lines of that. But I don't think you need to go after that till at least your very last seventh round pick. Because
Right.
honestly, I think there's bigger needs here. This is gonna sound
Yeah.
ridiculous, but I would not hate taking another corner here at
Okay.
pick 183. But honestly, I think running back would be the best choice here.
Yeah, running back is something we have to keep in mind of. That's another position. Running back, I think for the Titans, they're gonna have to upgrade it somehow in some way next year. The Titans need to upgrade that room. Tony Pollard was good later on in the season. Again, it's still questionable free agency what we're gonna do, right? Tyjae Spears also needs to get better. You have Khalil Mullings, who was hurt in the first half of the year. I wouldn't mind running back. A player that I want to do talk about, Nate, is Tanner Kazol, Houston Cougars tight end. And I wouldn't be mad about taking a tight end here later in this round. You're probably gonna let go Chigakonko. I'm sorry, Titans fans, you're gonna hate me saying that. I don't expect Chiga Kronko to stay with the Tennessee Titans next year. You can quote me on that. If he stays, perfect. If he doesn't, that's another thing. But that'll be nice to pair with Gunnar Helm. He's a bigger sized tight end. He's a good blocking tight end. Um, he's a pretty. He needs to get better at running his routes, but he has very good hands, and he's a very good guy. He can move guys. He can also block, especially maybe an extra guy on that line. And the tight ends need to get better next year, and the Titans need more size in that room. So I don't really mind Tanner to be the next starter or next backup for the Tennessee Titans, especially that they need especially bodies in that room. So Tanner's a guy to keep in mind of, especially with that pick.
I honestly agree with you here. Think I think it is more than likely that Chig does get let go. I'm hate saying that because he was
I know,
I
I
just
know you
loved
love
him on this
Chig.
team because ever since I've seen that break off touchdown run, I think it was 2023 where the game went Malik Willis started, where it was the first drive of the game. Chig broke off for like a 65-yard touchdown. Man, it's just gonna hurt
Yeah.
seeing him go. But I agree. I think tight end would be a need here. I do not think we're gonna get another starter in free agency. Honestly, the only other guy I can think of is
Hmm.
Dallas Goddard, maybe. But you've seen earlier today that Kyle Pitts is expected to get franchise
Yep.
tagged, and I would not hate seeing Gunnar Helm as a starter, but I don't think that's
Mhm.
ideal here moving into year two. I think maybe year three you might move into that role, but I think I'm gonna agree with
Really?
you here and get Tanner Kaisal here at pick 183. But up next here we
Yeah.
have pick number 227. I think this is the last pick. Oh no, we got 238 from the
We have two
Dolphins.
picks. Yeah. Yeah. 238.
Here I think you have to go running back. Yeah, I think here we gotta go running back here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, running back. I think the Titans need to definitely take him. And I think Titans fans should expect he's not going to be a starter right away, right? I think we already got. We'll see what happens to Tony Pollard if he's going to stay here or not. I'm not going to make any prediction on this show. Um, But that's something also to keep in mind, right? Is Pollard going to be here? Who's going to be the backup? And the Titans are going to add to that room, right? They need to have Tyjae Spears get more impact. A guy that very I'm interested in right there is Keelan Black. I think that's how you say it. Was very tremendous for Indiana last year. He's a smaller size running back at just 5'10", at 210 pounds, but he's a guy that's very quick, especially explosives right out of that run. And he was explosive in the playoffs for Indiana, had 99 yards against Alabama, had 79 yards against Miami, but he helped the Indiana Hoosiers get over the Oregon Ducks, especially with that tremendous run game. He can break tackles. He's very good against linebackers. So Black is a guy to also keep in mind of right there, and I think that's good. Should be the pick in the seventh round.
I am gonna agree with you there. He did play great with the Indiana Hoosiers, especially in that whole entire playoff run, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
So I think we should go ahead and pick up Black there. Now we're gonna move to our last pick of the draft here. I think this pick, you just pretty much need to pick a guy who is basically just an all around good football player, right? Because I mean that's what
Right.
you're looking for in these later rounds, either depth. Jeff Peace or a guy who can is just a really good football player. Here, I mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, I think quarterback would not be a terrible move here. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm interested in the quarterback market. I would think like somebody here in the seventh round. Heinz King stood out to me. Luke Altmaier stood out to me. Especially watching them play. I'm very interested to see also about. I know you mentioned earlier, Will Levis is not going to be here next year. He's out of it. He's not going to be here next year. The Titans are going to have to upgrade at the backup quarterback position. So I think like a guy like Taylon Green's also going to stand out to me, but Luke Altmaier, if at the seventh round pick, if the Titans are going to select a quarterback, Luke does stand out to me. I'm very interested to see if the Titans maybe go linebacker here in the seventh round, especially somebody in the inside, because the Titans do need linebacker help, no matter where it's going to be at. Again, to very keep in mind if Cody Barton's going to be here in the time. Scooby Williams is a name to keep in mind of for that linebacker room. So I think it's up in the air between Scooby and about Heinz King or someone like Luke Altmaier. So we'll see what happens, especially with the linebacker. But yeah, Scooby's a guy that the Titans can very much target in the seventh round. So it's pretty much up in the air, but we'll see what happens with the seventh round pick. Again, it's not probably gonna be a guy who's gonna start every single day, but I think Scooby Williams, the linebacker, the Titans do need to get some help there, and that should be one of the picks, especially for me to keep in mind about.
Honestly, I'm gonna agree with you. I didn't even haven't heard of this guy honestly, but that's a really sick name, Scooby Williams. I can already see
Scooby
all
Williams is
the
sick,
I can see all the fans already making edits with the Scooby Doo theme
right?
song. I think
Scooby Doo.
that should be the pick just based off of his name alone. That's a
There
great
you go.
pick there.
And
But
Titans fans, you have to remember he's not going to start right away. He's going to
yeah,
develop. And I think through where we're going to see with Robert Sala's defense. And first of all, Robert Sala loves linebackers. I think people should be very excited about what he's going to do with linebackers like Cedric Gray. But um, good draft. I think we did a good job with our first draft here. And we'll do a couple more. I know, Nate, we're going to do a lot more before right after the Senior Bowl and everything happens. Everything's going to be changing. But this was just the first mock draft after many.
I agree. You can see all of our picks here listed on the left side of the screen here. We'll run through them once again. Pick number 4 overall, we got Ruben Bain Jr. out of the U in Miami. Pick number 35, we have wide receiver Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee. Highly underrated pick there, like we talked about earlier. Pick number 66, we have Keontae Scott. He's listed as a safety here. I don't think that's what he's going to be transitioning over to in the
Yeah,
NFL, but I think it's a really good DB there. Pick 101, we have Logan Jones, offensive lineman
he's
there.
offensive line. Yeah,
And then we have a trade that we did with the Dolphins. Did a little pick swap there. Picked up Hezekiah Massis from Cal, former teammate of Marcus Harris there. And then 149, CJ Daniels out of Miami. Pick 183, we got Tanner Keisel, I think that's how you say his name, from
sounds like
Houston.
yeah.
And then 227, Kaleon Black from IU. Then last but certainly not least, Scooby Doo Williams, pick
Funny name.
238. Legendary name there. I'm already gonna start calling him Scooby Doo if he gets drafted here. But
There we go.
I think that's not a terrible list there that we did for our first mock draft here.
I think it's solid. And again, it's gonna change. Everything changes, y'all. Things change in football. Football's very weird, and we're just diving into the off season. So maybe after the combine, maybe Ruben Bain doesn't do so well in the combine. Maybe he goes down. Maybe Chris Brazzell has a fantastic combine, and maybe he rises in the first round. So this is just the first of many mock drafts, y'all.
Yes, that's very important to keep in mind there because we still got a
Yeah,
long way to go until the draft.
long
We're
way.
gonna have multiple more mock drafts here coming soon, but we do want to thank y'all for watching this video of the
Mhm.
Titan Roundtable series. Some of the guys couldn't make it. They will be back next time for the next podcast episode or video, whatever we do here for the next roundtable thing. But we want to thank y'all for watching, and we will catch y'all next time.